So interesting thing is about this Chod practice. Of course, we kind of build a internalized Chod. We can do without any ritual, playing damaru, not learning melody. We can do Chod practice in a sense that, like a feeding a demon practice, which Lama Tsuji introduced. But at the same time, we have this beautiful lineage the beautiful ritual which was transmitted from generation to generation through those great masters. So masters' realizations. So there is something to do with this power of the ritual. And so in Chod practice, we work on two approaches. I don't know if approaches is the right term, but two kind of uh, approach, method, direction coming. So the, of course, the realization of true nature and just rest here. That is one way, right? Like that's what you can do through maybe the pointing out the instruction or practicing those through meditation purely without any ritual. But at the same time, appearance, the appearance, for example, demonic appearance, we feel. If we don't see, then we feel it in ourselves. So it's illusionary, but it's really true. So in the meditation, I said, unless we kind of deal with those things, it's really impede our growth, spiritual growth. So we actively working on that appearance, work with the phenomena, work with the appearance with compassion, not just quiet resting, as you know. So we do both. So that, as I said, Chod is a fusion of combination or fusion of the emptiness and compassion. Yeah, so that's why we actively use all the bodies and speech and practice Chod practice. As we know, as you practice, I'm sure you already started to have experience, you feel the efficacy of this complicated, weird looking practice. The uniqueness of the Chod is gods and demons. Put the gods and demons in front of you. It's a part of you. If you internalize it, it's an expression part of you. And all these gods and demons, 8 kinds of gods and demons, encompassing everything which impedes you from awakening. In another way of saying yes, put in front of you. Because unless you liberated, have them liberated, you cannot attain enlightenment, so to speak. You cannot. So that's why you put them in front of you. Then go for refuge together. You're like a chanting master representing. And then generate the bodhicitta motivation based on the precious human livers. Actually, that's actually quite important here. Special bodhicitta motivation in the case of Chod. They have not in here because this is just chanting version, but I'm sure you know in your other Chod practice. And I took one body countless time in the past, but all those bodies are wasted. I didn't make it. But in this time, only once I received this precious human body, human livers. So therefore, I will use this for the most meaningful purpose. And I dedicate this practice for liberating the gods and demons who are my own mother, precious. They are only suffering, they are only kind. Those two things you can remember all human beings, especially those gods and demons. They are only kind, only suffering. Who I am right now, sitting here in about practice and embarking on this kind of spiritual practice. Who brought me here? All sentient beings, interconnection, interconnected. So I repay their kindness by making an offering of my most precious one, which is my body. This is a skillful means. But I wanted to start feeling into the body, how how your body responds to this kind of attitude. Really, I wanted to embody the refuge and bodhicitta attitude. Yeah. So visualization is a cell tap. Usually translation visualize, but it's involved the entirety of the human experience. So more like imagination, like involve the emotion and feeling, somatic sensations, and everything. It's not just thinking from the head, visualizing, drawing the picture of this. No, it's like really coming into the core of the human experience. That's I found very important. Then it doesn't, ritual doesn't become just intellectual exercise or entertainment or thing. Although this is the enactment of what's happening within ourselves. Practice, as we practice more, as to practice so-called advanced or the longer, then all the gods and demons come up more, appears, show up to you more. So that's good indication. If you have like a stumbling block in your spiritual practice or something, sometimes it comes after doubt. And after so many years, like 10 years, 12, 20 years practicing, then all of a sudden started to feel, what am I doing here? Doubts and all these questions and deep stumbling voice coming up, trying to disturb. Good sign, the gods and demons coming up because your practice started at advance. So that's why I wanted to kind of remind you about the Buddha's enlightenment. Just before he attained enlightenment under the body tree, all those maras appears like last. So the mara is a personified form of gods and demons. They appeared and they tried to kind of distract him from blocking him from attaining the enlightenment. So this one, I found this quote. The Maras, he said like this, I shall catch you, thought Mara, the very first time you have a lustful, malicious, or unkind thought. And like an ever-present shadow, he follows after, ever on the watch for some sleep. So these shadows, I think Sarah translated the shadow. As the shadow, Mara grows with every advance of light. That is the bodhisattva's proximity to enlightenment. So that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so, but how to defeat Mara is not defeating, but by through realize. That's what the Buddha did, right? He didn't throw the arrows and to push them away through realizing the emptiness. For example, there were many ways to say through realizing the empty nature of the everything Mara and realizing, understanding equality of the goods and evil, understanding the equal nature, pure nature, inherent perfection of the Guatemala, pure, the goods and evils. So that's what we do in Cho practice, I think. Okay.
Che ci dormeten sue chan chu cho du sem ke do da ni do wa kun do